Tales of a Later Dater, Donna takes a riotous look at relationships beyond marriages and the intricate dance of personalities, love, and romance, and how to make it all last. Armed with a Harvard degree in business and a master's degree in counseling, she strives to spotlight the importance of empowering women to achieve greatness, assume leadership, and pioneer roles in the workplace. Please, everybody, join me in welcoming Donna Arp Weitzman.
Thank you. I'm going to get right here if that's okay. Is this okay? I'm all hooked up to noise, so if you say anything, we're going to get you right here. So you got to say only nice things at this point. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. Gosh, I go back a long way with Rotary clubs. When I first got out of college, I'm from Henrietta, Texas. How many of you know where Henrietta, Texas? People always think I'm from where Troy Aikman was, but he was Henrietta, Oklahoma, and I'm Henrietta, Texas. But my first job out of college, I had a master's degree in psychology, so I went to work for the state of Texas in 1975, and because that was about all you could do in 1975, that was Nixon-gate, Watergate, and there were no jobs. So my first job out of college is I was hired by the state of Texas to go to, as I like to say, all the animal clubs plus the Rotary. So I went to the Lions, all of the clubs in West Texas. My territory was Wichita Falls West. Now that's a hell of a territory, right? But I spoke to Rotary clubs in every town, and what I spoke about, and I was almost run out of town usually, was expanding the welfare program. Now, can you imagine a girl, 24 years old, going all over West Texas trying to talk to a bunch of Rotarians about upping your taxes? It was not real popular, but they were always gentlemen. And so I always want to thank the Rotary Club because I got promoted after that, and then I didn't get to go to West Texas anymore. So thank you guys for being so friendly. When I do a speech, I used to be the mayor in Colleyville, as you know, and was in politics for 3 terms, and before that was in business for many, many years, and after that was in business. But I remarried 5 years ago, and I wrote a little book, and that little book is right here. And I wrote it actually for my girlfriends, and it was about my experiences dating as an older woman. Now, how many of you have dated after 40? I don't think many. Okay, I know I got a couple over here. Okay. Then I'm going to give you guys a book because God knows you need this. All right? But actually, I'm going to give it to this lady right here. But actually, I brought a few, and I'll be happy to give them away. But dating after 40 is absolutely the most horrendous experience you can ever imagine, but there is life at the end. So Cinderella means all of us girls and us guys want to be Cinderella. Cellulite means we have a few problems along the way. So actually the book ended up selling a lot more than I thought. It's in its 3rd printing. It's sold in 6 languages. It's sold around the world, and it has now been written for a TV series, and I have a Hollywood agent at Innovative Artist who is so darn handsome, I almost don't care if it ever sells because I just like to visit him when I go out to LA. So the book has done extremely well, better than I would have ever imagined. So someone asked me earlier, what am I doing since I'm no longer mayor? And I said, I have now become, is there press in here? I don't know, I want to be quoted on this. I've now become a sexpert. Okay, so I'm supposed to be an expert at dating and relationships, and God knows, maybe sex, because I wrote a separate book, and this is called Sex and the Siren, which nobody told me when you do this and you get on Amazon that Google picks you up, and so now whoever's looking at sex on Google, which is a hell of a lot of people, my book pulls up. So the book has done really well. Now, for any of you who would like to take a look at this, I'll just close my eyes and somebody grab it. She got it quickly. She got it quickly. But so that's what happened. But I was talking to my husband this morning about. I was talking to my husband this morning about what I was going to talk to Rotarians about, and I said I usually do a tagline, for my Facebook, or I have a lot of followers on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and so I was thinking of taglines, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I was thinking of saying, spoke to the Rotary Club today, the North Arlington Rotary Club, and Rotarians need love too. What do you think about that?
I would agree.
Not great. Okay, so then I thought I might say in all my press releases that North Arlington Rotarians looking for love. How would that? Your wives wouldn't like that either, would they? I better just stick with speaking to the North Arlington Rotary Club. But anyway, I thought, you know what I might talk about real briefly is really on a serious note, healthy business relationships. And all of you, I'm supposing, are in business, or have been, or will be, or it's somewhere along the line. How many of you have partners in business? Not just your wife or husband, but you actually have a partner or partners. So lots of entrepreneurs, but mainly partners. So I'm going to gear this then to the entrepreneurs. Healthy business relationships make healthy personal relationships, and vice versa. Healthy personal relationships make healthy business relationships. How many of you want to have healthy relationships? I think everybody. You know, and healthy relationships we usually say are happiness, love, and joy. Happiness, love, and joy. So that's really what we're looking for. And that's what I have started now over the past few years after writing these 2 books. I wrote another book, but it was a business book, so it doesn't count, which is sold actually as well. But we do want to have those healthy relationships. My attorney told me when I was a very young woman, and I've had 3 businesses of my own that I've grown over the years and sold, as well as working for major corporations like Procter & Gamble, Boise Cascade, and Siemens Corporation here in Arlington at the time, which was one of the biggest corporations in the world. But I went into business, and of course we all want a partner because we're usually scared to death when we go into business, or I was when I was 35. And he warned me, my lawyer, and he said, a partner is like marriage without sex. You get all the bad and none of the good. And so what I've found through the years, that's not always true, but sometimes it's true. So here we go. I want to take a quick look at some things that tend to make successful relationships personal and or business. Each one of you are responsible for your own happiness. That is such a key thing, because how many of you have ever said, she doesn't make me happy, he doesn't make me happy? Get rid of it. Quit saying it. You make you happy. You don't ever look for anyone else to make you happy. That's the number one thing I say on the radio when I'm doing a radio tour right now. Gosh, Sarah, how many radio stations? Maybe about 30 last month that I've spoken with all over the country and in Canada. And I always say, you're responsible for your own actions. No one can make you happy. No one. Don't try to control the other person, guys and gals. As we women have gotten more and more power in the workplace, you know, we also like our control, and we may do it in a different way. But if your partner or your coworker is a procrastinator and you're not, you're never going to change them. You are going to be miserable. Let them procrastinate and you work around them. Cover them with your success, but don't try to get them to change. Nagging, yelling, none of that works. A relationship in business as in personal is a power balance. You have to agree, and you need to agree up front. What are our business? What are we going to do? Is somebody going to handle finance? If they are, make sure you handle finance. Somebody going to handle marketing? Then let them handle marketing. Sales, management, all those areas are really important to have a power balance early on. Conflict should be dealt with and not overlooked. Conflict should be dealt with and not overlooked. Where we go wrong in a lot of our relationships is we end up not dealing with our conflicts. I'm just going to give those to you, and they're yours. And give them to somebody who can use them, because I know you guys can't use these, but I am writing. I do want to mention I'm writing a 3rd in the trilogy. The 3rd in the trilogy is Prince Charming has a migraine. How many times have women given you guys a migraine, married or not? Have any of you ever had a migraine due to a woman? If you have, raise your hand. If you haven't, you're not eligible for my book. All right, you guys have, I have one volunteer over here. But my book is the 3rd in this trilogy, and it's about guys and how they find love and keep love. And it's a humor book. Now, one guy that I was interviewing, I do want to mention this and see how many of you agree with this. One guy that I was talking to, because I interviewed men for this book, which has been great fun. I interviewed women for these books. One guy says, I'm trying to get something for him to say something, right? And you guys sometimes don't like to talk about your feelings, right? And he said, oh, Donna, all I know is men are 3 things. I said, okay, what are they? He goes, they're either hungry, horny, or sleepy. And he goes, that's it. And I was like, can I quote that? So that's in my new book coming up. Now I've had men that don't agree with that. So I want you to know not everybody agrees with my principles. Let's go back to business though. Conflicts should be dealt with, not allowed to fester or to simmer. Deal with your conflicts. Share feelings. Golly, I'm talking to a bunch of men, Sarah. What do you think? Share your feelings. Say you're upset, but then let it go. After you share it, let it go. Don't blame. Don't put blame on people. You know not to do that. And you know something really important is take time for yourself, whether you're in business or your personal life. One counselor one time told me a relationship is never like this. It's never even. It's always like this. Somebody's feeling better than the other one. Somebody's feeling worse. So it's like climbing a ladder. Somebody's always above a little bit. Take time for yourself. Exercise, have fun and adventure. Do your hobbies. If you go fishing, go fishing. Don't feel bad about it. Eat right. Looks like we're eating right today with our broccoli. And get your sleep. Get your sleep. So important. Stay away from too much stress. Stress is a killer. And laugh often. You guys do that really well, I already see. Laugh often. Consult your partner seriously before making big decisions. The worst thing in the world in business, if you have a partner, is for you to make all the decisions, or in a marriage, or whatever. Two brains are better than one. It's okay to disagree with your partner. Good communication, how many times have we heard that? Works in business as well as works in personal life. Trustworthy, do what you say. Don't break promises. Stay motivated. Try to be more motivated than your partner. Get up, get going. Don't make him have to ask you. Team player. Achieve common goals. That's easy. Trust your partner. We all have such a problem with that. How much do we trust them? And then last, don't make snap judgments. Execute your plans. That's kind of an overall do good, feel good, but it works. It's basic. It definitely works. So that's kind of my advice on healthy relationships. That's kind of my advice for healthy business relationships. And you know what? We're enjoying our food, so I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have. You know about my books. I'm going to give these last two away. And so if you would like to ask any questions about the books, I can tell you what it's like to write a book. I can tell you how Amazon rips you off. I'm happy to talk about that. Of course, I'll sign them in a little bit, but I'm thrilled to talk about Amazon because every author I know would just adore getting Amazon out of their life. And you've probably read some of those authors that sell millions of books, how they don't let Amazon carry their book. There's a reason for that. That book, Cinderella, sells for $14.99. On Amazon, that's what it sells for on Amazon and in Barnes & Noble. It's sold in bookstores throughout the many states, well, all over the United States and in many countries. The author gets $5 of the 15. So you've got to sell a lot of books to make a lot of money. Would any of you guess how many books are written each year? Just want to hazard a guess. In the United States? A million? She's the best guesser I've ever had. Usually they say 100,000, 5,000. 1.2 million books per year. 1.2 million in the United States. That's a lot of books. Have any of you ever looked at how many books are on Amazon? 8 million. 8 million. For you to be a bestseller on Amazon, and Cinderella hit number 16 on Amazon about a year ago, you're competing with 8 million books. So your chances of having a bestseller on Amazon is tiny, 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 and almost in infinitum. And then Sex and the Siren hit number 14 in January. And so both of them have done well, I'm humbled to say. But Amazon takes $5 a book. And so think about that, they have 8 million books. So that's why now the guy that runs Amazon's isn't he the second richest man in the world? Didn't I just read that? Jeff Bezos?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably why. But anyway, authors don't like Amazon because they take so much of our profit. So that's been an interesting thing. Any questions from any of you? I just kind of wanted to run past a few principles of business, a few principles of relationships, and thank you so much for having me. Sarah?
Okay, so this may be a very basic question, but when you're saying that relationships
Like climbing a ladder.
Can you just dive a little bit more into that, I guess? Just
What do I mean by that?
what about when the relationship's like always up?
Well, if one's always up at the top, if you're up at the top, you may feel pretty good about it. If you're at the bottom, you're probably not feeling too good.
But normally it's just supposed to be even.
Yeah, some days he feels good, some days you feel good, some days he's winning, some days you're winning, but you're usually not on the same plane completely. Very, very rare. Someone in here I talked to, there you are, has been married 62 years? 63 years. Has your wife ever had one up on you?
Every day.
Is there anything you'd like to add about having a successful relationship? I would say 63 years is pretty darn successful.
You better have a hell of a lot of patience.
There you go. Good. Patience. Patience in business, patience in relationships. That's right. What else? Anybody else got anything to add to that? Any ideas? Yes, dear. So, all right, there you go. That's a smart guy. Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
How to compromise without losing yourself your own identity.
Any idea how to do that?
Talk to me.
Talk to you? Okay. How to compromise without losing yourself. Well, try to look for something, when you're compromising, try to look for something that you can't give away your principles and you can't give away your morals. That's what you can't give away. Pretty much everything else, ask yourself if it's cancer or not. How bad is it? Is it cancer? No, then I can do it, right? So, that's pretty much, there's a lot you can do if you give up your pride. Yeah, so, but ask yourself that. Yes, sir?
My parents were married 63 years, and I was talking with a patient of mine that he and his wife were married 63 years. And I visited him last Friday, and he told me that because she passed away about a year ago. He was saying it's a whole lot more important to be kind than right.
There you go. More important to be kind than right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sir?
I think you really have to be a skilled listener. And sometimes it's kind of hard to be patient and
Wait for them to say it?
yeah.
Because you know what they're going to say, or at least you think you
Pretty
do.
much.
Yeah. So, a little technique for listening? It's a little communication technique. And I learned it at Procter & Gamble 1,000 years ago, and I was so lucky to work for that corporation. They teach you so much. But the one thing they taught us was how to listen well. And how you listen well is you parrot. So if you notice, I parroted him. He said, listen well, and it's hard to sit. And I said, it is hard to listen well. That's parroting. It's going to the person and saying what they said in a different way. But it really serves you well in business, and it also serves you well with your loved ones and your relationship because they know you heard them. If you can say back to them what they said, you may ask it in a question, you may say it in a little different way, but it's basically just parroting back what they said. Then you both heard it because you can't lose that way. You have to hear it in order to say it back. So that's a little technique that you've probably learned. Yes, dear, and that sort of thing. Anything else? We got so much experience in this room. Anything else, guys? Any business partner issues? For those of you who have partners, you just want to slap the heck out of them sometimes, probably. But yes, sir.
You made the comment that only you can make yourself happy.
Absolutely.
And I'm with that.
Mm-hmm.
But there may be people in your life that you need to jettison, get rid of, because they make it real hard
For you to be happy. And the funny thing about that, you are the only one that can make you happy because you have to bring them into your world. And they're constantly beating away at your door or your aura, or you're making you feel sad. And sometimes it is. I always say in an argument, it's better to walk away. It is always better to walk away every time. I don't care how good your goal is or your argument is or how right you are. Walk away, breathe, and restate it in another way. Give yourself some time. Time is really important when it's stressful. And you'll see lawyers do that a lot of times. They'll take a break, or judges will take a break. It's to kind of tone down the rhetoric and tone the attitudes down. Anything else? You've got great ideas. Kristen?
You've been in the media a lot lately, talking on radio stations. Can you talk about some of the topics that you've been
Oh,
that have asked you to comment?
this is what people are interested in around the United States, I can tell you, and a little bit of Canada. Canada has been a major buyer of my books. I guess they have long winters up there, and they're looking for something to do. But and actually, the number 3 spot where my books are sold will shock you all. It shocks me. Number 1, of course, Dallas, because I know more people. Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas. Number 2 is, of course, Houston, because I have a lot of friends in Houston, a lot of people I know. Number 3 is Milwaukee. Don't ask me why. There is no reason, but Milwaukee loves my books for some reason. The bookstores up there do. Yeah, cold, long winters, I guess. But some of the things that people are interested, a lot of people now are interested in online dating. I just had a co-speech with the president and CEO of Match.com, which is the largest dating site in the United States. And I don't hold me to these numbers, but I believe she said they had 8 million users on Match.com, 8 million people using them. What she said, what I thought was really interesting about online dating, 40% of the online daters have been married before, 40%. And over half of the online daters, in fact about 60-something%, are over the age of 40. So dating sites for older people are growing like crazy. And now what's happening on online dating is specific dating sites. Let's say you're Buddhist. Now they'll have a Buddhist dating site. They, have had a Jewish one for years called JDate. But now they'll have these very segmented dating sites. So that's kind of interesting. But do you think that relationships online, when you meet someone online, do you think they're more successful or less successful?
I'd say less.
You got it. It's really not a lot, but for people who think I'm going to be very successful because I'm going to match what they say, they love riding horses and you think that's an automatic match, doesn't work so well. 30% of all of the, I really have rarely ever seen a dating site, but I can tell you people put a profile on them and they say what they like and they give their picture and that sort of thing. 30% of those, 1 in 3 is fake. 1 in 3 is fake. They've either made something up, they love to make up their educational background, that's one of their favorites, and their ages. How much do you think they usually shave off their age if they're over 50?
10 years.
Boy, you are good. It's about 12 years. It's about 12 years. So now that's only 1 in 3. So 2/3 are are telling you the truth. But anyway, that's some statistics on dating sites. Yes, sir.
Did a deal on the radio the other morning talking about, and it was, I guess, uptown Dallas, trendy restaurants and trendy bars. They had put a sign in the ladies' restroom that if you're on a
Dating site? Mm-hmm.
a date and they gave certain drinks, and depending on what you ordered, they would call the police or they
Yes.
but,
Yes.
if you need to be called away or do
Yes.
anything, all the way down to I'm in trouble, you need to call the police.
Yes, I'm seeing more and more of those, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I do want to talk about, back to Kristen's thing and you, the fraud that is on dating sites. The fraud is growing. Fraud for money, guys. This isn't for their age or their looks or their education. This is actual money, and it's getting serious. About $200 million last year was sent in from people looking for love on dating sites, and the person frauding them. And the way they fraud them is very simple. 17 million in Texas, by the way, 17 million. We are the #1 state for fraud on dating sites. We spend more money trying to find love than anybody else. And so what happens is, let's say I'm a woman and I'm trying to fraud a guy, okay? And so we hook up online. I swipe left, you swipe left, we like each other, and then we get into a conversation online. My next step, if I'm trying to fraud you for money, my next step is that I'm going to try to get you offline. I don't want you out there for the whole world. I want to get closer to you. So the way I do that is I instant message you, I get your phone number, and I text you. And so we develop a relationship offline. That's number 2. Number 3, once we develop this relationship, and it's been going on then, they're pretty fast. This is about a month, generally a month and a half. But you're anxious to get someone to love you, right? Someone to have a relationship with. And so what happens then is I who am the frauder, set up a time to meet you. This is looking good. I'm going to meet you. I'm going to come to Arlington. I'm going to meet you right here for lunch. Well, guess what? The fraud never comes because suddenly they have health issues. They have a dog that needs surgery. Their aunt died. The plane was canceled. There's a million reasons. But that one reason is they need something. And guess what they need? They need you to send them money for an airline ticket. They need you to send money for their surgery. They need you to send money for something. Guys, it works. It's amazing how many times it works. So if you have friends that are using dating sites, and you will, they may not be telling you that, but all of the stigma is going away. So people talk about it now. Make sure that they know. I tell people in order not to be frauded, number one, if they give you too much "I love you" too early, we all know that's fake, okay? If they give you too much how handsome you are, although not for you, sir, you are very handsome. But if they say how handsome you are very early, disregard it, okay? And if they want to meet you face to face, take somebody with you. Don't do it alone. Never do it alone, right, officer? Never meet someone alone and do it in a public place. Am I right, officer? Yes, do it in a public place. Your chances of them coming is very low. If you're getting sucked in, and it's so easy to get sucked in, tell somebody. Get somebody you know to look at the circumstance. Talk to your cousin, talk to your sister, your brother, talk to your pastor, talk to a police officer and say, does this look suspicious? And then listen to them. That's all about dating fraud. Big, big thing. Today I'm talking on the radio about beauty and handsome. And there are studies that show if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. And remember that song from the 60s? There are studies that show that is true. That your likelihood of breaking up, whether it be marriage and or a relationship, is if you're a 6 and they're a 12, okay? Or you're a 2 and they're an 8.
Because you outkicked your coverage.
There you go. There you go. So I always use that old song, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. And a man too. Well, there's simple reasons for that, but sometimes we overlook them. The simple reasons are they just have more opportunities. That's all it is. If they're a 9 and you're a 4, when you're in the bathroom at the restaurant, you can bet there's some people trying to hook up with that number 9. So, it's a very simple thing. You just have to decide what's important to you. But that's a big hot topic right now because some new studies just came out on it.
So what, you both have to be 9s?
Well, you need to be about a 7 and a 9 or about a 4 and a 6, or there can be a little difference. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you do if you're the 4 and she's the 9?
You better watch the 9. There's going to be some other.
There's other reasons.
You might want to try.
Don't go to the bathroom.
You might want to try a 6. Yeah, there you go. Well, that reminds me of a story I'll end with, unless you have other questions. I do a lot of talking about cougars and kittens. The cougars now are the big deal. The older women trying to find the younger guys. I mean, this has become very popular. All across the world, really, but very popular in the United States for a woman. A cougar is someone that's 12 years older or more than the man she's dating or has a relationship with. She's officially a cougar. A kitten is if she's 12 years younger, okay, than the man. So I have a dear friend in Fort Worth, and I said to him, now he's very, very wealthy, and I won't go any further, but I said to him, why are you dating all these younger women? You know what people think. They think it's for money. They're dating you for money. Because he's about a 4, and he was dating about 14s.
Okay.
And he's like 80, and he was dating a 29-year-old ballet dancer. So look at that. Yeah, right?
All that money.
And so I said to him, why are you dating these women? I said, they all know what, everyone knows why they're dating you. And you know what he said? That's okay. I said, what do you mean that's okay? He said, I got to have something to offer them. So he was okay with it, and I guess they were too. So everything works if you're okay with it. Just know the facts, know the numbers, and if you're okay, go for it. Thank you guys for having me. It was great fun. And you got all my books. You were great fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in your honor, we will be donating a book to one of the Arlington libraries.
Oh, please.
Don't go